Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Aloha Friday, the beginning of the weekend. Thank God. Not sure if anyone else is feeling that right. Actually, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. Busy. I know a lot of people have been talking about how busy it's been crazy week. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale, which is a totally different story for another day when we actually talk about boundaries and stuff like that. And but it's been a week, and also welcome. And yes, as usual, the dogs are all saying welcome to you also. So we'll give everyone a couple minutes to get in and for me to try to bribe the dogs with treats, because we all know, whether you're human or a dog, treats work. They really do. And also, okay, that's enough treats for you guys right now. And so we'll see how that goes. So, hey, Evelyn's here. Hey. And first one in. You got the honor of that one. How's that one sound? So thanks for coming today, Evelyn. And also, yeah, we've got a totally different, I'll just kind of talk, subject for me. This was a new one for me. I had actually never heard of it. First of all, Sleepy Ninja is actually the one who suggested this last week. And I'll be honest, the first time I heard it, I was like, I think I heard something wrong. I must have heard something wrong. And, but no, I did not. There is such a thing as nonviolent communication. It wasn't a typo, and it's actually interesting. I found out, Pia, I found out it's something kind of related to stuff I've always kind of tried to do. I think it's something a lot of us tend to do. We've picked up little things throughout the years just in learning how to communicate with people. Pia, no. And sorry, someone wants more treats, and I don't have more treats right now. Yep, no more treats there either. So, and also, hey, Rosaling's here. Hey, Rosaling, thank you for coming, my dear. And also, I may end up grabbing this dog in 5 seconds. And come up, Pia. Pia, come. And also, she's been quiet all day. I promise you. I do promise you, she has been quiet all day. So, and let me just real quick. Come on, Pia. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So Pia is with me right now. That should help. Okay. Yeah. If you can't quiet them down, just grab them. It works. And yeah, now Mama Puppy is very hungry. She is never not hungry. She will steal food from her own puppies right now. I have never known a dog so ravenous in her life. And also, but yeah, nonviolent communication was something that was completely new to me, something I had never heard about in my life. But like I said, I've been doing little bits. Hey, MX Big, thanks for joining. And yes, woof, 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 and then woof, woof from the other one here. Hey, you know what? Some people have kids that they have to kind of balance at the same time as doing a live. I get the dogs. I did leave the puppies upstairs, so that was good. The puppies upstairs, even though it might have given her something to do if I had done that. So, but yeah, I found out nonviolent communication. Let me ask those of you in chat, and before I get into it deep, I want to give people a few minutes to kind of get here and all. But I found there's certain things I've kind of heard over the years to kind of practice. Okay, telling people, well, I feel this way. Okay, if we're having an argument or something. And I started adopting those things. Okay, well, I'm feeling, okay, we're in an argument. Well, when we just had that discussion, I felt upset about what happened. And I'm finding out it all kind of stems from nonviolent communication, but I'm not using it correctly. So MX Bigs, yeah, dogs, they do think I'm crazy talking. They're like, but mommy, we're here. You can talk to us. Okay. You don't have to talk to that box there. And we can do all that easily. So yeah, Evelyn, reflective listening, I feel statements. They're things that we're doing. It all comes from this, I'm discovering. So little puppies can get used to me talking to myself. Well, I do that a lot anyhow. So yeah, kind of fits. So as we start communicating, and that kind of stems from how we learn how to communicate. All of us, if you think, if you, I think, I think that they think, yes, they do. And as you can tell, I got the bird over there too, the parrot, and the parrot definitely thinks I must be talking to him because, I mean, no one talks to anyone but the parrot. The parrot has priority over everything in life. And anyone who's had a bird knows that. Birds rule the house pretty much. So, but yeah, when we start learning how to communicate as a child, there's a lot of different things that come into play, and it continues changing. Even right there, and even as we get older, we continue to learn. It starts off what our mom and dad are sitting there teaching us how to say mama, papa, all those different things tell us what all we need. Okay, how to act around people. We kind of talked about this with the 4 agreements. We talked about domestication, and thanks, MX Big, and all I love them to death. I do love them to death, even if they are being a troublemaker. And but yes, our parents teach us through domestication. We are being taught. Awesome, Rosaline. Thank you. Listening is good. That's what I was doing with you the other day. I was actually making soup while Rosaline has an awesome channel, guys, by the way. I mean, Rosaline, pop your, if you have a second, okay, before we're done, make sure we pop your channel in, because Rosaline's channel really kind of, especially when you pull all of this together, we kind of go back and forth on, okay, talking about different ways of approaching things here. And then on her channel, kind of the real life, just pulling everything together. Okay, whether it is through thankfulness or through her Tarot Tuesdays with kind of reading and finding messages for yourself and things like that. So, but yeah, communication starts with our parents. It goes on with our teachers, our friends. They're all teaching us how to communicate. Okay. And we all find that we're taught different ways of communicating, a lot of times based off of the families. Thank you, Rosaline. Our families teach us, okay, if you happen to come from a family that has a more dysfunctional communication style, often you start off life with that communication style. And you spend many years trying to find other ways, okay, and realizing, oh, that's why people react this way when I talk to them. I discovered certain things like that in my own communication style. I found it within friends' communication styles. As I start hanging out with them more, I pick up their communication style. And then my family's like, wait, you're changing and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I am changing. I am changing. I'm picking up things from other people on how I communicate and request things and state my feelings. So many times, MX Big, yeah, your parents had zero, unless, bingo, and you run into all those things where all of a sudden your parents, because if it was a non-functional system, where are you going to learn it from? Where are you going to learn how to talk to people? So, and that's where you get it. Your school friends, your teachers, there's a whole nother section. And this is where I hadn't even thought about, but we have entertainment, books, reading books. Books teach us a different way of communicating. Movies, and think about our TV. Back in the 80s, you had those family, sorry, something in my eye. You have the family sitcoms, which taught a certain way of communicating. Okay, remember, everything always ended up happy at the end, and the families all got together and stuff like that, and it made, okay, no sense, but we were learning a communication style through it. Now that we've moved into this new internet generation and all that, influencers. Think about this. This I just realized last night. When we are here on YouTube, we are learning a new way of communicating. I'm not talking about sitting in chat and talking back and forth and stuff like that. I'm talking about we're communicating without necessarily thinking about the emotions behind the people, because all we're seeing are words on a screen. Okay, if it's someone who's chatting, how many times we've been talking lately about the trolls and about people being fake as fuck and all these other things. You know what? These are ways of communicating that in real life, you never would act that way. you never would communicate those ways. Why do it here? Because it's a new way of communicating that seems to be acceptable here. Should not be acceptable in my eyes. Okay, it's something, sorry. Okay, I will get up on my little soapbox there. I get sick and tired of people who are fake and who sit there and drag other people through the mud. I mean, if you've got a problem with something, guess what? You're pointing at yourself, and the problem is with yourself. And but in the end, we are using YouTube and the way we're learning how to communicate quite often for negative ways, because we really haven't learned how to communicate this way yet. We're still working on it, and all of us are at different places in learning that. So this was something, when it started popping up, I started realizing and researching it the last few days. I was like, okay, can this work in this type of place that we are? Yeah, it'll work in my family. It's different. It's definitely different. But can it work here on YouTube? Yeah, I think it can. I think it takes a lot more time than we're used to giving things. Okay, as we go through this, I think you'll recognize that it does definitely take time. And also, so starting with that, letting everyone know, this is something new for me. Hey, Evelyn, what did you say? TBH, it's also empowering. Yes. As someone who cannot talk that way in real life, I can feel empowered. Yes, exactly. I think it is a thing of empowerment here when we start talking on here. On the internet, on YouTube, I find, at least with myself, and I'd be interested how many of you guys also feel this way, I can say things that I would have problems saying in real life, IRL, whatever you want to call it. Like, YouTube isn't real life. Oh my God, it's as real life as anything else gets. But for some reason on YouTube, I find I'm a little bit more vocal than I would be here with my friends or at work or things like that. Yes, Evelyn. Okay, IRL, you feel voiceless and unheard. There's a lot more fears, I think, in real life. Fears of people not accepting you, people judging you, things like that. Online, yes, you are judged and there are the fears. Hell, I had fears like hell when I started this channel. I was scared to death because I know someday I'm going to have my first troll thing go on sooner or later. It's going to happen. And it scares the shit out of me, to be honest. Okay, I try to be honest with you guys all the time, and it does. But I'm realizing, you know what, this is also part of me taking my own journey. And that's what this channel is for me to help myself learn and grow. And hopefully I can help some other people, and we can all help each other in the end. So yeah, MX, it does. It helps you refine your own narrative as you're going around talking. Definitely. So going forward, just so you guys know, I definitely, let's see if I can put her over here and have her stay. It may not work, but we will find out. You're my troll, MX Big. Yay, I got my troll out of the way. I love you guys. And just so you guys know, I fight fear every time you go live. Yeah, and Rosaline, you don't show it. You do not show it. And but yeah, every time, I was just 5 minutes before I went live, I'm walking around the house, and my mom's got back from vacation and everything, and I'm telling her, I got to get this energy out of I've got too much energy in me right now. And so it feels like some of you guys know I do theater on the side. I usually stage manage, not act, but I have acted before. And it's that same kind of fear that if you learn how to put it in the right way, it's awesome. But if you don't, oh my God, it eats you alive. But as we go through this today, like I said, okay, the whole idea of nonviolent communication was new to me. I sat down and I have an outline together and stuff like that. So if you see me looking over on my notes, you know why. And also, but it's definitely something that I have found very interesting as I've gone through. So nonviolent communication, okay, started back in the 60s. There was a guy by the name of Marshall Rosenberg, and he kind of developed this whole thought process. Okay, so you can kind of think back Okay, and in my own head, I'm thinking, what was going on in the 60s? Okay, it's the time of, okay, love and understanding people. Thank you, MX Big. And yes, no, this one decides to come to me. Yes, I have two of them and they look very alike. So now I got Cassie. But Marshall Rosenberg in the 60s came up with the idea of nonviolent communication, or NVC for short. It can be seen in other terms. Some people will call it compassionate communication. So again, go back to the 80s, 60s, not the 80s, the 60s. It's about compassion, understanding other people, things like that. So it's basically a model for thinking about and having an exchange with someone else and yourself. Yes, MX Big, one of my good friends, calls this one the enchanted mop. And actually, I needed to put her hair up and I was lazy. I did not do it. I need a bather too. So, but yeah, this is the enchanted mop here right now. So, and, yeah, so NVC is something where you are able to have an exchange, not a tete-a-tete. Okay, if you know your French, okay, a head-to-head type of argument or something like that, or a discussion of the minds. It's really a exchange between two people. And so when you are doing this, and when I did the research for this, I will be honest, guys, I found channels that are devoted to this. I mean, 100 video channels that are about nothing but NVC. NVC with your children, NVC at work, okay? The best sentences to use in it. I mean, it almost was a little daunting at first, I'll be honest with you, when I started looking at it. So, to start with, what I found the best way is I found some really great channels, and on one of them, they discuss tips. Okay, and we're kind of going to keep things very, very surface on this. And if people wanted to go further, we can definitely go further in the future. But this will give the basic thought process behind what NVC is. And from there on, we can decide what to do from there. So tips. Okay, our tips, the first to recognize is simple does not mean it's useless. Yes, this has been daunting looking at this. It has been really daunting looking at this. But when I really got an idea of what it meant, I was like, oh, it's actually kind of simple. Again, you're coming down to 4 different steps. Okay, by the end, we'll go through the steps. And it's very, very simple. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's useless. We saw that with the 4 agreements. Very, very simple 4 agreements, but extremely useful. Does it mean non-aggressive controlling? Yes, to some degree, yes, it does. Because a lot of times we do tend to aggressively and very clearly. Where it really comes into is listening to the emotions and the needs of the other person. Okay, listening to because all of us have needs. And with nonviolent communication, you're more focused on the needs than the blame. A lot of times when we talk with people, or if there's an argument, and NVC is very helpful in those type of situations. In an argument, you're more focused on the blame. Okay, we're going to talk later on about, for example, well, you didn't do the dishes last night, and ways you can approach that. Well, in NVC, it would not be about blame and pointing the finger and stuff like that. It'd be more about, okay, this is why doing the dishes was important to me. Okay, it's looking at yourself rather than the other person. And I don't think you guys can hear this, but as some of you guys know, I have 3 5-week-old puppies upstairs, and someone is whining and howling at the top of his lungs right now. It's actually kind of funny. I don't think you guys can hear it, but just in case you do, that's what's going on. So the first one, yeah, simple does not mean it's useless. So don't just key it off. But on the other hand, it feels daunting. It may feel awkward. Okay, instead of being able to come straight out and say, well, why the hell didn't you do the dishes that night and stuff like that? There are steps and thinking process to go through. And it may feel awkward at first because you're trying to get your hands on all the four different steps of it and how to reword things, how to think empathically. We use that word a lot here, I've noticed. Okay, I'm an empath. I'm an empath. Oh, I swear 90% of the people that I run into on YouTube are empaths. And they very may be. In some cases, there's also codependency that can look like being an empath. But this is the time for all of us to use those empathic skills to be able to feel what is going on with the other person. And so, can anyone use it? Okay, yeah, anyone can use it. Okay, that's what's great about this. Anyone can use it, and you can use it with anyone. Like I said, there's that whole channel where people have over 100 videos just on NVC. And at the end of this, we will be sharing my Discord, and I'm going to be sharing some of those channels and some of the different pictures and charts and things like that on Discord. So if you are on Discord, I'll be able to help out with a lot of that information later that goes a little more deeper. But one of the things I found on these channels is someone actually had this whole thing about doing NVC with your child. You've got a 4 or 5-year-old child at home. How do you use nonviolent communication with them? Because after all, we're teaching them communication skills at the same time. So MX Big, how does witty banter feed into that? Sometimes it's about understanding, yes, an intent which may not be obvious at first. That's a lot. And that's why MX Big, we had a whole section, and Rosalind just popped it in there perfectly. And that's why I love Rosalind. And the 4 agreements. Okay, that is actually the one of the agreements. I think it's the first. I'm spacing out right now, but I think it's the first. And be impeccable with your speech. Okay, understanding that banter and that wittiness. Okay, it's kind of like I've told people when I started modding for people and I got my first couple wrenches, I was scared to, you know how when things pop up and you have to approve or disapprove of the comment? For those of you who have never modded, that's basically what you get, certain comments and you have to say approve or not approve that comment. And I wasn't sure what to do with that. And the reason why I wasn't sure is because I knew every creator had a different thought process on what should be approved versus what shouldn't be approved. And it's the same thing with our witty banter. Okay, some people are going to understand it where others may not because they don't know you yet. And I noticed the Fanny first. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Pia, come. And so take nothing. Thank you. Bingo. Rosalind just popped them in there. Yeah, be impeccable with your speech. Make no assumptions. Don't take things personal and do your best. And do feel free to go back and check out the past videos on that, because I honestly, those are still something almost every day in communication. I'm going back and like, oh yeah. I'm taking things personally now. When am I going to learn to stop taking things so freaking personally and everything? Or I'm making an assumption in this case. So anyone can use this. Okay. Now, the question comes, though, is as you start noticing this, MX Big, you had some good stuff there. Okay, how does this fit in with all types of communication? It doesn't. There are times that you are not going to want to use it. So when do you not use it? Okay, if you are in a fight where there is potential dangerous anger type things, where there could be safety issues going on, hell no. You're not going to want to take the time and sit there and figure out what the person's need is who's getting ready to slap you across the face. Sorry. Okay, you're going to pause the whole idea of nonviolent communication. Nonviolent communication does not mean you allow people to beat you up. Okay, but once you are able to go back into that, you hit unpause. So Pause, unpause, and you get back into wherever you need to be. So safety always comes first. Okay, wherever you are, no matter what. So, Pia, no. We've got people, Pia's hearing things upstairs, and we gotta, be a noisy little mommy right now. So, and so what are some key concepts of this? And we've got, sorry, I hear they are really being noisy upstairs. And so what are some of the key concepts? Well, the first one is, like I had said, there is I feel. That's one of the first things I recognized I was doing in this discussion, okay, that I did not realize was nonviolent communication. Okay, I would say to people, well, I feel this, or I feel that. There's a difference, though, between I feel versus I think. And that's something very important to be able to figure out when you're doing this. Because I feel is about an emotion you feel. It's not about a thought. Okay. I feel, say we're having an argument about being ignored. And I say, well, I feel you aren't listening to me. That's not a feeling. That's a thought. Okay. Instead, it'd be more like, I feel lonely. That's a feeling. That's an emotion. So recognizing those differences. Hey, Cherry K, welcome, my dear. And recognizing the difference between that emotion and the actual thought. Okay. Another, take responsibility for your feelings. Okay. This is something I think a lot of us can slide into very quickly. Hey, Susan T, welcome. A lot of us get into this thing where we tend to blame others for the way we feel. No one has control over how you feel. You make that decision whether you are going to feel lonely. Okay? If that person isn't listening to me or something like that, it's not their fault. It's the way I feel. And that's my decision. Same as if you see abuse happening in real life and deciding whether intervening would help or hinder and how to, if you're seeing abuse happening in life, exactly, you are going to react to that abuse. Totally different. You're not going to want to sit there and try to figure out why the guy is a guy or girl. Sorry, I didn't mean it that. But okay, because trust me, I've been in some situations and all that with friends of mine who, females can be just as abusive as men, and that is a fact. But if you see something happening, you're not going to be looking at the abuser and thinking, well, wonder what their needs are right now. Maybe I could figure this out and stop it by talking about that. No. So, and Rosalind has a sentence there, and those are actually where we're building up to, is how we say that. Hey, Katie K, you didn't miss it, you made it. And take responsibility, Phil, for those feelings. Okay, you can feel betrayed, wronged, offended, disrespected, unappreciated. But you're not going to put the blame for those feelings on someone else. You are the one who chooses to feel that way. You don't have to feel betrayed. It's all in how you look at it. So you have to take that responsibility. No one else. Come here, Pia. And also, there is a reason for all the actions. Okay, everything, okay, we're talking mostly conflict in this case. Okay, arguments at home, arguments with your dog in about 5 seconds if she doesn't stop barking. And also, I wish I had chewies today, but I do not have chewies. So I just give them jerky. And, all actions are based off of a need. So, what is it they need? Okay, when people are having an argument, each side has a need that's below the surface. And a lot of this comes down to understanding what those needs are. Okay, now, different actions and different needs approach differently. Okay, so behind every positive feeling we have, the positive feelings, okay, I'm feeling loved, I'm feeling joyful, I'm feeling, okay, like I'm part of the group, all those things, they're behind a satisfied need, a need that was met. So all of those feelings, those positive, joyful feelings that we all love, are because one of our needs was met. On the other side, an uncomfortable feeling, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling hated, I'm feeling picked on, I'm feeling, okay, all those things, they are due to a need not being met satisfactorily, an unsatisfied need. So I'm feeling scared. Well, the need you have is to feel safe. And if you're feeling scared, that need, that good need, is not being met. So there's a reason behind all the actions, and that's what a lot of NVC comes down to. What is that need that's going on there? Now, the other thing, when you're actually in an argument or talking with people, you have to be able to understand that when we talk to people, the more you are willing to hear them and for them to hear you, the more open the two of you guys are. Okay, we've all been in those positions where someone cuts us off and we know they're not going to listen to us no matter what we do or what we say. We clam down, we put up the walls, and we're not going to say anything to them because what's the use? Why open up to someone if they're not going to listen to you? Okay, so behind NVC is the idea that if you're willing to listen to other people, they're now going to be more open to you. So hopefully that starts going. So that's why people will ask, does the other person have to understand what NVC is to be able to use it? No. Yeah, it helps. But they don't have to, because guess what? If you're doing these steps, the thought is they are now going to be more open and be thinking about stuff. Susan T, your dog's barking at my dogs. I'm sorry. I know mine do that all the time. Anytime they hear someone bark or they hear a sound or something. Oh my God, it was hilarious. Robbie one time was doing barking at all the dogs in everyone's house, and they were going ballistic. They were loving every minute of it. So yeah, KDK, this stuff is hard to learn. What we said at the beginning is we learn our communication skills a lot of times from when we were younger. And if we were taught skills that were not the best, okay, maybe from a home life or a school life or whoever knows where it was from, we're going to carry that on. And so you need to be open talking with people. Now, on the other hand, though, okay, a lot of times being open also means being open to hearing the word no. Okay, a lot of times we want to solve everything. Okay, nothing is all pulled together until you have a nice pretty bow tying it into a nice, okay. No. You have to be willing to accept the other person may just say no. You have to be willing to allow them to feel comfortable in what they're saying and be open and honest in what they're saying. Even if it's something that you don't like hearing, you've got to be willing to hear that. Okay, and then through there, you need to aim to meet their needs and not find fault. All this whole thing, everything you've heard me talk about right now, it's about needs, finding those needs when you're talking to them and not finding the fault. And there's where a lot of this comes down to. Okay, yeah, it's about honesty. To be honest, that's it. It is about honesty and being open with each other. And you know what? You're not always going to agree. It'd be a very boring world if we all agreed with each other. Okay, it'd be a truly boring world. Yes, it sounds like it'd be amazing, but you know what? I think after a week of it, I'd probably be tired of it. And also, it is when you're going through this process, it's reminding yourself, especially at the beginning when it feels awkward, that it's not about the fault. Every time you find yourself trying to find fault, you got to stop yourself and remind yourself, no, it's not about they did this wrong. Okay, you can think that in your head. Oh yeah, you can think anything in your head, but you're not going to start pointing fingers out and things like that. So, something very sorry. I'm going to just keep throwing them treats and they're going to be happy little puppies. Okay, because we all know food is good for them. And so we keep doing that and it won't work. Yes, exactly. So, lastly is it's not passive. Okay. A lot of times communication is something that we do passively. We just talk. Okay, blah, 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 and talk, and we're not thinking about what we're saying. We're just talking. Okay, I am the queen of stream of consciousness texting and stuff like that. I got myself into a lot of trouble from being a stream of consciousness person. And because yes, it is the truth a lot of times, but it also gets me into trouble because I'm not thinking. And when you're doing NVC, you've got to think. You've got to be thinking throughout the whole process. You really, Cherry K, here's a treat, Cherry K, and another treat. And would you sit down and I'll give you another treat? Yay, yay. Okay, anyhow. And also, yeah, they get more than their fair share of treats. Yeah. Other people have Amazon orders for other things. I've got routine Amazon orders for treats. Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. And also, when they came up with this idea, okay, non-aggressive but not passive, yes, that is an MXBig. Yes, that's a very tricky one. How do you be non-aggressive but not passive? And now's when we slowly start to get into that. Hey, I'm happy you enjoyed the treats, Cherry K. And now's when we kind of go into how you do it. Because yeah, it is. I wasn't sure how the hell you would, and that's why I was so daunted by this whole subject at first, is because I was like, how the hell does this work? And when they came up with the idea, he came up with this idea of two animals, okay, the jackal and the giraffe. Okay, this is going to get a little crazy now, and this is why, seriously, if you're interested in this, join me on Discord, because I'll try to get a little bit more clear in Discord. There's a lot to this. In most places, you'd be doing a 3 or 4 hour session to understand this. But if you think about those animals, okay, the jackal. Okay, the jackal is vicious, it's fierce. Okay, he's low-lying perspective. Okay, he gets down low in the grass and stuff to look at what's going on around him and everything. Okay, he's very sly. Yes, and okay, he's judgmental. He's down like that. He demands stuff. He instills fear, blame, shame. Okay, more negative. Jackal has a negative connotation in general. Okay, sorry to anyone who loves jackals. Okay, and on the other hand, your giraffe. Okay, stealth. Yes, I did not even hear that one mentioned before, but stealth actually fits into this, because stealth can be very, especially when used in the wrong way for communication. Being stealthy about trying to get your point across and keep trying to do this, and you're forgetting to pull yourself back and look at the whole picture because you're so focused on this one path. So the giraffe, on the other hand, has a big heart. Okay, that big of an animal, he's got a big heart. Okay, he's tall with that neck, he's tall. Okay, where the jackal is low lying, looking around like this, your giraffe is looking at the whole picture. He's looking at the whole savannah, what's out there. Okay, where are the dangers? Where are the safe areas? Where's the water? Where's the food? Where's all these things? Okay, he's looking at life with a wide perspective. Okay, he is recognizing what's around him, because he could be the jackal's dinner or something like that. Okay, the lion's dinner, whatever. He needs to have an empathy level where he can figure out, Is that lion hungry, or is he just going to relax there right now? Because we've all seen those videos of the water hole where you have herbivores and carnivores in the same area and they're not killing each other. Well, the herbivore is having to, and there's the bird. Shh. And so the herbivore is really having to feel what's going on there. What's the energy like? Okay. He's keeping an eye on all this. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at approaches from these two different points of view. And defensive behavior, yes. Let me know in chat if this bird's, okay, now he's saying good girl and all that, but his fire alarm sound can get crazy and I'll have to figure out something to give him. So let me know if it's out of control and I will leave for 5 seconds and give him something so he shuts up. And so otherwise I'll keep on. I know sometimes I hear things a lot louder than you guys do, but he's loud. So when okay, now we're going to take, he's fine. Thank you, Rosalind. And, but let me know if it gets out of hand. Yeah. And so let's go back to that earlier example I mentioned. Okay. You didn't do the dishes. Okay. So say you come home one night and your husband, wife, kids, whatever, were supposed to do the dishes. They're all sitting there and it's a mess still. No one touched anything. So you've got an issue to deal with. Now, there's different ways of reacting. There's actually 4, a lot more, but let's limit it to 4. Let's look at these 2 animals and 2 different ways each of them can, oh, Gulf Coast Mama, I love you to death and welcome, my dear. So welcome. And also, let's outwards Jackal. Okay, they use these outwards versus inwards based off of how you are approaching the issue. So, an outwards Jackal is someone who's would then come in, and they come in and say, well, you're always on my case. You didn't do the dishes last week type thing. You're always on my case. You didn't do the dishes last week. Or you didn't do this or you didn't do that. Okay, and that would be the approach they would come with. They're attacking. They're using criticism. They're using blame and all that. Okay, so outwards Jackal is completely about criticizing and blame. Hey, Mama Jane Star, how are you, my dear? Hey. And so they are going to react with a, I feel this because you did this. Okay, I feel angry right now because you are sitting here and you don't do this, or you ignore me all the time, or you didn't do the dishes, or you didn't do that. It's all outwardly attacking. So that's your outward Jackal. Inward Jackal is a different one. Inwards is going to come back and say, you're right. I can't do anything right. I mean, I'm a failure. I can't ever do anything right. I can't even do the damn dishes right. I'm a fucking failure. Yeah, you're right. That's your inwards Jackal. Okay, you're attacking and criticizing again, but you're doing it inwardly rather than outwardly. So what are they saying? I feel this because I think this, or you feel this because I did this. So slight difference between those 2. And why should you have to cater to lazy? Good question. So good question. And now moving on to the giraffe. Now, okay, and you can kind of get an idea from here. Which direction do you think we need to be going here? Okay, you have your inwards giraffe. Okay, you get yelled at. Okay, or you yell at them for not doing it's more like they yell at you for not doing the dishes. Well, when I hear this, when you tell me this and you say this to me, I feel embarrassed. What I would like is maybe some understanding. There's a different way of thinking. Okay. It's turning and tuning everything into yourself and more of a self-empathy. Okay. Saying that, you know what, when you're saying this to me, I hear it. I do hear it, but I feel this way. Now remember, feeling versus thought. I feel embarrassed. Okay. It's an actual emotion. It's not that thought process that you're turning into an emotion. Okay. It's more self-empathy with that. So your inwards giraffe, again, that they're going, I'm feeling this because I need that. So going back again, you're allowing that person to know what it is you feel and what it is you need. Because with nonviolent communication, that's where we're going back to over and over, is those needs. What is it the person needs that they're not getting? Okay, what are the feelings behind what is going on? So next is your outwards giraffe. Okay, so your outwards giraffe now is, well, are you upset because you'd like the kitchen to be kept orderly and clean? I sense you value that. I do sense you value that we keep everything orderly and clean. And so now turning it, instead of inwardly, because I feel this or whatever, you're now turning it out towards that person. Okay. And instead, are you feeling this because you are needing that? Okay. Differences with that. So looking at these two areas, where is it we want to be focusing most of our nonviolent communication? Do we want to be that jackal or do we want to be the giraffe? Which would you think? Just using your gut feeling. 1 for jackal, 2 for giraffe. Let's see. We got to always have a 1 or 2 in every one of these chats, you know. So what do we have going on here? And gives me a chance to drink an iced tea. Oh my gosh, I was thirsty. And it's interesting going through this as I was listening to that, as I wait to see if anyone has any thoughts on the 1s or 2s there. My Kai, shh, thank you. And sometimes that works when I say thank you. Usually it doesn't. And so as I started watching these things and kind of looking at what they were talking about, it really felt weird to me. Okay, the giraffe approach felt very weird to me. Okay, Dr. Phil is big on NVC. You know, I think you're right. I think you're right. And and it's interesting. People will say they'll have meetings where they'll go in and we're going to discuss this issue using NVC because they want everyone on board at the same time. So my shh. And so taking this, yes, we want to be looking at it from a giraffe point of view. Okay, we want to be looking at their needs. We want them to be understanding our needs. Okay, same with feelings, emotions. We want to be on that level, not the critical side, of course. And so now let's take this to the actual conflict resolution. My Clayton bird. Shh. You know what? 1 second. I am actually going to give him something real quickly. I will be right back. I am here. Let's see. There you go. Sorry, guys. He is just way too noisy. And you guys may not be hearing him, but he's starting to cause me a hard time. He's going to continue on, isn't he? And so let's take a look at the actual process, okay? So this has just happened. So how could you pull this whole thing together and resolve the conflict? You're going to have 4 different steps. Okay, so this is where I got into the whole idea of telling you guys, in the end, you're going to look at 4 steps. Oh my God, thank you, Rosalind. You're good. And you're good. He is loud. And I don't know why he's so loud right now. I really don't know. He's usually not this loud. So my kitty bird. And my kitty, shh. And so, yeah, it's actually sunset. That's probably what it is. We're getting into sunset. Usually this happens an hour later, but it's getting dark early. So basically, actually, I should just bring him over here. You know what? Let me do that. 1 second, guys, and then we'll get into conflict resolution. So come on, Cookie. Come on. Let everyone see why you're being such a noisy bird. Okay. Yes. You can let everyone know why you've been such a noisy bird. Can you tell everyone? Yes, let's try to do this. NVC with you. How's that? Are we going to do NVC with you? Would you be able to tell it? Now, the dangerous part on this is he poops. And hopefully not on me. I know, TMI, but it's life with a bird. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. This, by the way, is my cutty. My cutty is a rescue, actually. And my cutty is my baby. Yes, aren't you? You're a good bird. You wanted my attention, don't you? So say hi, everyone, while we move. Now, he's actually a Timneh African gray. And the reason why they can get so noisy is they're the smartest of all the birds. They truly are like living with a 3 to 4 year old child. Yeah, she was not gonna, well, he grew up thinking he was a girl. So it's girl, girl, girl. Okay, pretty girl. Okay, she completely. Till I had her sexed and we found out you are a boy. So I will let you choose what you want to be. How's that sound? Yeah, because I can't retrain you. So, oh, Katie K, are you terrified? You know, my auntie is totally terrified of birds. And also, but yeah, no, I've been lucky. I've had, well, he's my second African gray. And they've always been rescues. So many people get birds. Yeah, trans bird, exactly, MX Bib. That's it, exactly. And he's good, though. He's good. But yeah, no, so many people get birds without researching them. And they find out very quickly they are a handful. They are a super, super handful. And yeah, conflict resolution would work well with them if they would actually pay attention to what I tell them at times. But say full-on panic attacks. Oh, hon. Now, I get you. I got some things that are like that with me. I just, yeah, no. And this little guy is big, and I'll go into that later. One of the things later we're going to talk about is when animals are so, well, we'll get to that part. But yeah, screen or glass works. Yeah, he can't get through to you. That's for sure. And also, okay, conflict resolution. So, here we get into the actual idea of how do you go through conflict resolution using NVC. Okay, first step is observation. Okay, when you're going to get together and you're going to state what you saw. Now, you're not going to get into emotions or anything like that. Okay, you're just going to state what you saw. Okay, that goes into the feeling. A non-binary bird. Yes, there you go. That's what you are, my dear. That's what you are. And also, 2 being feeling. So you've stated what is actually going on. Okay, I just noticed that I came home and I noticed the dishes aren't done. Okay, straightforward. You're not getting into any of the little comments or anything that we tend to get into. You're not going to say it with the attitudes or something like that we tend to because you've had a rough day at work or anything like that. It's just, when I got home last night, I noticed you didn't do the dishes. That's all. And your next step is the feeling. Now you can get into the feeling. Again, though, remember, this is about your feeling, not your thought. So, when I got home last night, I noticed you did not do the dishes. When I saw it, I got frustrated. Feeling. You're not saying, when I got home last night, I noticed you didn't do the dishes. And you know what? I think that was ridiculous. Okay, because I asked you to. Didn't I ask you to do that? Why the heck didn't you do that or anything? No. You're just telling them point blank. Okay. Oh, Rosalind, thank you. And also, thank you. I worked hard on those banners. Yes. And also, I can type well. Yes, I can. That's about all. But hey, your next is the need. So now you're going to state the need. Okay. Why do you have that feeling? What is the feeling? Okay, we just said I felt frustrated. But why? It doesn't do the person any good to know that you were frustrated if they don't know what led to that. And what led to that, again, no one can make you feel any way. It is the need inside of you that led to that. Because guess what? That may not have made someone else frustrated. They may have come home and seen dishes not done and been like, okay, yeah, whatever. So what made it different for you? No problem. Sounds great. MX Big. And thanks for coming. Thank you so much. And thanks. And have fun. Auction. Oh God, thank God I'm not going because I'm dangerous at auctions. Yes, I'm dangerous, especially a silent auction. Oh my God, I'm too competitive. That's all it comes down to. So yeah. So that next step is stating the needs. So yes, I felt frustrated. I feel that way. I felt frustrated because I have a need to be heard. Okay. That's all it comes to. Your need is to be heard. And if you aren't heard, you get frustrated. And next is the request, because you've now stated what was going on and you need to be able to pull things together a little bit. And that's when you're going to be able to say, yeah, you are being very noisy today. Thank you. And so your request can come in many different ways. There's different types of requests. And yep, keep my hand down. I will. I promise, MX Big. I won't fall for any auctions. And also, so there could be a reflection request. One type of request would be a reflection. So you're asking the person to repeat back what they've heard. So you've heard Rosaline mention that in some of her, statements or sentences for talking to people. That's where this would come. Okay, saying to them, okay, could you repeat back to me what you heard me say? Okay, or what did you hear was important to me? I want to just make sure I was clear. Okay, again, it's not pointing fingers. This is one area when I read it, I was like, oh, God, someone might be able to take that and run with it as a negative comment. But it's not meant as a negative comment. It's basically just saying, I just want to make sure that you heard me correctly. Could you please repeat what it was that I said? Because how many times have we been in a conversation where someone said something to you or you said something to them, and oh my God, they come back at you with something and it's like a 180-degree difference, especially if you're doing something, say, via chats, okay, or on YouTube or stuff like that. Okay, it very easily happens there. So asking that repetition is actually very important. And another way of requesting things would be a feedback request. Okay, instead of asking them to repeat things, just say, so how are you feeling after you have heard everything I've just said? Okay, you want to know how they feel. You care about them enough that you want to know. Okay, letting them know, perhaps, okay, I'd love to know what you think is preventing you from doing the dishes. Again, you're asking for feedback. Okay, this time instead of how do they feel, you're asking for feedback on what's making it hard for them. Okay, maybe asking them, could you help me with, perhaps we do some brainstorming on how we can get the dishes done in the future. Okay, so getting the feedback back and forth. The third type of request can be a solution request. Okay, some people, especially if you're dealing with children or something like that, getting into the brainstorming may not be the best idea in the world, so maybe it needs to be a more direct request. So would you be willing to do the dishes before going to bed tonight? Okay, again, remember, when we're making these requests, okay, the other person always has a right to say no. And we have to be willing to accept that no. And that's something to always keep in the back of your head. Yes, Rosaline, help me understand what you think I said. And also all these things, we need to be ready for that. So with the requests, they can be made of that person. They can be made about yourself. They can be made about the world in general. Okay, it can be made of anyone. You're going to want to ask for what you actually want. Don't tiptoe and hope that they figure out what it is you're asking. Just ask for what it is you want. Now, don't make demands. If they say no, they say no. And it's fine. Katie K, I might be jumping ahead, but what do you do if you get a closed off answer back from like whatever? That's where some of the problem comes in. No, you're not necessarily jumping ahead because this actually kind of fits in with this whole area. If they're like, no, whatever, shit like that, we got to go back to, okay, first of all, accepting that they've said that and not getting pissed off and feeling our own emotions and taking it personally, because again, that's not to be taken. Don't take it personally. That's them. And we got to figure out what it is behind them. So here's where you use your empathy and you try to get an idea what is going on for them. What need is being missed? Because there's got to be a need there. Okay. It may be the need that I just don't feel like doing shit because my need is I need some alone time right now. Okay. But there's a need somewhere that we need to find. So the more we push, the more someone who is like whatever is going to put up more and more walls. So what we need to do at that point is invite them to brainstorm. That's the perfect time to actually be saying, would you please be willing to brainstorm with me a way we could get this done? And, in some cases, it might be something where you're part of that solution. Okay, maybe it is. You do it together this one time or something like that. But in the end, understanding what was behind that. Yeah, it may be pure laziness. But you're not going to go out and say that. Only they are going to know that down deep. And that's their issue to deal with. And with kids, like I said, especially if you've got something with kids, I don't mind. If there is interest in this whole subject, we can look more deep into the actual other areas of being able to use it, whether it be at work or with children or stuff, and come back and take a look at things on that level. Here, let me try this, see if that works. And yay, I got both hands free now. So make sure, though, your request, the other side of it, though, is if they're doing the yeah, whatever, there could also be the side that maybe what you're requesting is not doable for them. Okay, there may actually be a reason why they can't get the dishes done that night. Okay, and so you need to make sure what you're asking is doable and it's concrete. The solution is doable and concrete. And so to kind of go back through those 4 steps, and a quick segue into that whole discussion is, okay, that didn't get done last night. Well, when I got home last night, I noticed that the dishes weren't done. I felt frustrated. I think I was frustrated because I have this need to be heard when I ask for something. I'd love to hear what you think is getting in the way of you doing the dishes, perhaps. And, would you be willing to work with me on coming up with some solutions? Or maybe would you be willing to clean the dishes before we go to bed tonight? So that starts now. Is that the end of it? No. Sometimes it will be. Sometimes that is a great end to it. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, here, I'll go do it now. Oh, that's awesome. Sometimes that's your starting spot because that's when you get into the actual emotion behind it. And the discussion can continue as you guys start figuring out, because they may not know that you have that need to be heard. And it made you feel frustrated. And it's going to bring up stuff. And that's when the discussion just continues. And there are, like you said, okay, Dr. Phil, MX Big mentioned, Dr. Phil loves this. And it's because it is a way of working through multiple issues. And so couple things as we kind of wrap this one up for tonight, just a couple things as the major points I started realizing as I went through this. Okay, first, as you're looking at nonviolent communication, keep in the back of your mind that it is not about pointing fingers. It's not about what they did or what they did not do. Okay, it's more about those unmet needs. So finding out when you talk with them, what are the unmet needs? Okay, what were your unmet needs? What were your feelings? Remembering the difference between feeling versus thought. And um, remember also, though, okay, and this gets Katie K, I think, very heavily into what you were talking about now that I think about it. A lot of times people are only going to be willing to truly start discussing these things. Hey, Amber Ann, yeah, drive safe, my dear. And a lot of people are not going to be feel safe discussing these things until you're really willing to listen to them. So if you come up with those sentences I just said, and you're not willing to go further than that, they're not going to feel like they're being heard. They're going to feel like you're just telling them all this stuff. Well, why don't you just do them tonight? Okay, I told you that I feel, okay, like no one is paying attention to me and I'm frustrated and all that, but I don't care about how you feel. Just do them tonight. No, that's going to defeat the whole purpose. And so let them know that they're being heard and you are here to actually be part of a true conversation with them. Remember also their unmet need. Okay. So say you and I are fighting and you tell me you are feeling frustrated because you have a need to be heard. I cannot take that as your unmet need as an attack on me, because it's not my fault that you were feeling frustrated about it. Now, it's important for me to know your needs so I can try to help meet the needs. But the emotions that come out of those, they're not my issue to deal with. A lot of times, especially when we get into that, okay, certain types of codependent relationships, things like that, we take on those needs as our own needs. They are not our needs. They are their person's need, not our fault for not meeting or anything like that. Okay, so remembering that. Also remember that refraining from judgment, okay? The moment you refrain from judgment, okay, and the person knows there is no judgment involved or anything like that, people start feeling safe. The moment people start feeling safe, they start being honest. So all those equal each other. Refrain from judgment, safe, safe, honest. Hey, High Priestess Tarot 610. High Priestess, love your channel, my dear. Love your channel. And also, yeah, all of you guys, try to check out High Priestess's channel. If you join our Discord up there, we link her stuff all the time. She's awesome. And she's done some real good readings for me. And so remembering that, yeah, refrain from judgment will lead to safety. Safety leads to honesty. Love you back, High Priestess. Love you. Now, how do you not take things personally? This is the question of the year. Okay. You see that little bugger? It doesn't look like much. It looked much worse yesterday. That bugabird that you just saw a few minutes ago bit the hell out of me yesterday. I was trying to take him away from my mom, and he did not like that. And he not only bit me, he hung on my hand until I got over to the couch and kind of shook him off. Yeah, it was not good. It was not pretty. Okay, it wasn't pretty at all. But did I take it personally? How many of you guys have been bitten by, oh, High Priestess, you missed the cat bird. I've got my African gray, right? She, whatever, was very noisy, so we had to bring that. But if you've been bitten by a dog, a stray dog or something like that, we've all had a case where an animal bites us for a reason. Is it the animal's fault? Do we take it personally that they did it? Like they were like, oh, local, like yesterday. Well, Mom, you did this to me, so I'm going to bite the hell out of you and stuff like, no. We know they're not doing it on purpose. We know there's a reason behind it. I was able to sit there yesterday and figure out, okay, Mom had just come back from vacation. He really wanted to meet and be with my mom, and I was taking him away from mom. And on top of that, I think he got kind of unsteady on my hand, and he has a malformed foot, so he tends to fall easily. And he grabbed and he was mad at me for that. It's not his fault, not by any means. I didn't read that. I didn't use those empathic skills that I have to be able to figure out what was going on with him. And I usually can figure it out. I can usually be with him and know, oh boy, it's not going to be a good day to go playing with him too. You learn those things. So it's the same with humans. Why do we do different then? When a human gets mad at us, okay, and strikes out at us, okay, I'm not talking abuse or anything like that. That's a different issue. But when a human strikes out saying, is it no, he broke the skin, Rosalie. I mean, I had a pool of blood, basically. It was not pretty. And then I've got little things on top from the top, and then, and also, and it actually looks really good. But yesterday it was nasty, really nasty. So yeah, when they bite, I've got scars on me from bites in the past. That's why I tell people, get a bird. They're the most awesome pets in the world, but think it through first, because otherwise they just end up becoming rescues, and that's what he is. And I think he had a wonderful home before, but I know of birds that did not have a wonderful home before because people didn't know what they were getting into. And you have to really know what you're getting into. But going back to the thing with the humans, a human does something like that to us. What do we do immediately? A lot of us start blaming ourselves. When someone gets mad at us, we take it personally. When they say something against us, we take it personally. They post a video about us, we take it personally. We forget they're talking about themselves. They're talking about an unmet need of their own. And that's what we need to always come back and remember. Why would we not take the animal's bite personally, but we take the human's attack personally? Keep going back to those 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions. Okay, don't take things personally. It's funny how all this stuff keeps coming back. It's not just in the 4 agreements that this was mentioned. Here we are on nonviolent communication, and it's popped up again. So it's something for us to keep remembering about. There is a reason behind these things. They're not stupid thoughts that we don't have to think about, because they're lessons for us. And if we want to take them, we can run and we can grow. We can grow so well. So nonviolent communication, in a nutshell, a 1 hour, 15-minute nutshell, including birds and dogs and all that, but that's nonviolent communication. There's so much more to it. Like I said, oh yes, Gotcha the cockatoo. Yes, I love Gotcha. And there's so much more to this. And I knew I could not get through it all in one. And that's why I was like, how the hell am I going to do this in one live? And so there is a lot that you can do as part of this. And I am willing to do future lives if there's ways of approaching it. Say you want nonviolent communication with children or with significant others, or okay, we can even look at YouTube. I don't know if anyone's ever done anything on it, but I think that'd be an awesome, interesting idea. Come into the Discord. Okay, come into Discord. I have a couple different not gifts, JPEGs and stuff like that I can share with people that will help explain an emotion, or the difference between thoughts versus emotions. It explains the needs. We've talked about, okay, everyone probably remembers Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all that, but going a little bit more in depth on all that. So we can come together and truly discuss how we can put this into play. So definitely check out. Mods, if one of you are able to I know you've been putting Discord in, but if you want to throw that in again real quickly. And these links for Discord only last for 7 days. Hey, Jessica, welcome, my dear. After 7 days, they expire. So if you're seeing this on replay, you're always welcome to join. Send me an email, and I will make sure to get you into the Discord. And Rosalind, thank you. I can't say it enough. If you have not read the 4 agreements, go to that link Rosaline just put up. That link to the 4 agreements. It's a short book. Okay. You can also go watch the videos that I did where we talked about it. It is probably one of the best things I have ever read in my life and has made the most change for me. Good change. Changes for the good. So, oh, thank you, Mama Jane Star. You know, I did this, as I said at the beginning, this whole channel started off more or less something for me. I needed to make I saw myself reverting back into some old behaviors that I needed to stop. And I did not want to fall into them. And I even myself, okay, I want to do something on boundaries at some point here also. And I think it's been helping me a lot. And I've been hoping it helps other people, because what's the use of me just going through things and helping myself if there's other people who might be able to learn from this? And I have to say right now, I mean, when this was, who was it? Sleepy Ninja came up with this idea. I never would have thought all of this even existed. So that's why I thank you guys. Okay, go into Discord, give me ideas, because I would love to research ideas. Like I said, boundaries is coming up. Someone has asked me to do something on childhood PTSD. And that one I really want to do, but I really want to do it well, because I know it's something many of us have had to deal with. And I want to make sure it's done correctly. And I love you, Mama Jane. And I love all you guys out there. I look forward to these days with all you guys to hang out. And there's another reason why I look forward to these days to hang out. And that is because of something that happens in just 40 minutes. God, it's only 40 minutes from now. Oh my God. And so those of you who you can't find here, one second. I think I've got a Discord link. Sorry guys, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going to put up the Discord link for everyone. There we go. And it's okay, Rosalie, no worries whatsoever. There you go. There's the link for Discord. So for those of you who belong in Discord, great. If anyone would like to join Discord and has questions, please feel free to send me an email or connect with me at some time. Download it. Myself or many, many others would be willing to help explain how to use it. It's really there's a lot to it, but it's also very simple. Okay. It's one of those things you can get deeper and deeper into it, but on the basic, it's good. It's good. But be careful. Yeah. Some places can be crazy when it comes to Discord. That's why I've tried to there's a couple people that I know of who have really good, safe Discords, and I try to limit even my participation to those. So, how childhood abuse affects you as an adult. Trauma. Yes. And I think that's one of the areas that I want to throw in with the whole CPTSD bit, childhood PTSD. I think a lot of us out there, many of you guys know I'm a survivor myself. A lot of us have had to deal with shit over the years, and it all affects us differently. The problem is a lot of times we are so focused on our own journey, it's hard to focus on everyone else's and how they're reacting differently. And then we end up treating people differently based off of how we would want them to treat us. And this is one of the few times in life I try to treat everyone the way I want to be treated, but there are certain times in life that, you know what, you need to treat them the way they want to be treated. So I think the more we can learn about just life in general, all these things we're dealing with, the better off everything is. So anyhow, moving on to the fun. Everyone knows, oh, Gulf Coast Mama, thank you so much. There's the Discord also, so thank you so much. I am going to be getting ready for Friday night at the YT Cantina. It's Aloha Friday. Everyone knows Aloha Friday is, yes, we work during the week and we work during this live, but after this live, we have fun. So anyone who's been there knows that we will go through probably a good, 70 different topics over the course of the whole night. We usually sit there and bring projects. Gulf Coast Mama does her nails. I do some diamond painting. We talk shit. We talk serious things. We just let life take us wherever life is going to take us for the next couple hours. And also, if you're interested, I will post that on a bunch of the different Discords. If not, if you're not on Discord, for those of you not on Discord, check in about 5 minutes and I'll have a link showing up on my channel for the Friday night at the YT Cantina. We'll be starting it at 40 minutes, so 5 o'clock my time. And before I finish, did anyone have any questions about tonight? Sorry, I should have asked that first. I got talking without thinking. And I'm hoping we kind of got through. I know there's a lot to this. There's so much to this thought process. And Rosalind, brewing a fresh pot of coffee. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I wouldn't mind coffee. I might do that too. A couple of us bring our beverages of choice also, by the way. And so it's definitely a laid back. But like I said, we've had some very serious talks in the cantina. But we've also had some craziness. I mean, we went through the Mandela effect one night. We went through games. Oh my God, it's crazy. So, okay, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up then. And I will see you guys in about 40 minutes if you come join us for a little while during that. Panel is open for that. Okay, you do not need my permission. I will have it pinned. So yeah, just come on up. Okay, it's a night for us just to unwind and have fun. That's all it is. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I mean, really, I really appreciate every one of you guys that come into chat. It's kind of helping me to go through all these things to have other people with me. And also thank you so much on that. And I hope it helped you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the future. Make sure you sub if you're not subbed. Gulf Coast Mama will be there, yes, with her nails. Well, some of us can't do nails. And no, I can't do it. I just need to stop biting them. And also the Brady Bunch. Yes, we did the Brady Bunch one night with our panel. We had 9 people up on panels. So we had a full Brady Bunch thing going. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Okay, hit that thumbs up, please. And I hope to see you guys later tonight. And next week, Friday, I will see y'all then. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Love you.